So it's been around 1 to 2-ish days since the Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 info dump came out, which revealed a bunch of information about Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3. And quite frankly, I'm not excited. I thought about scripting this video, but for now, I'm going to speak from my heart because that's really the only way I can really talk about things and have some sort of passion in them these days. But I feel like the way Bandai Namco has been treating Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 in general has been complete shit. First thing kind of started off with the whole demo situation that we're redoing again with Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3. Apparently, in order to actually play the game, you need to go to a different state to actually be able to play it for a limited amount of time. So in that sense, instead of doing, hey, you know what, let's do like a temporary beta or a downloadable demo, which is very possible. I don't want to listen to anyone talking about data mining and all that bullshit, okay? It's very possible you could do a limited type demo, give it to everyone. But the fact that people have to actually travel to a different states, okay, pay their money, by the way, for low quality to mid footage is just absolute lunacy for me. It's under the guise that, oh, well, we're doing something for the community. We're giving you a demo. You're allowed to play. But in fact, the easiest thing would have been to have us to make it downloadable and have us play it by ourselves or at home so we can kind of like experience it in a more convenient way. So it's like you're telling us that we have to travel because, by the way, not everyone lives in California. I don't know if you know this, Bandai Namco. Not everyone lives in California. Not everyone lives in Texas. Not everyone lives in certain parts, okay? You have to actually, you know what, the real world, you have to actually pay money to travel to different states. So for us to be able to play the game and experience and even have a limited time with the gameplay, and you're making it so that we have to travel and go through all this nonsense. And by the way, with these events and all that stuff, there's like a limited time per person. So we have to do all of that just to be able to play this game. Why wouldn't you just do a demo? Why wouldn't you just do a beta right now? This is the same mistake that you guys made with Sparking Zero, where guess what? There was a lot of issues with the game, a lot of problems, but you hid that behind curated footage and limited amounts of offline demo gameplay to make up for that fact. It really feels like Bandai Namco just does it in purpose because they're afraid to promote their game to the general audience. You know what? You know why? Because in the current media form, in current 2026, they are afraid of the general mass from being able to experience their game at a big level to where everyone can judge it and everyone can say positive things, but more importantly, negative things about the game. But if you keep it to certain states, guess what? A lot of these people who will be able to play the demo, they won't have an audience. They won't have any type of real impact, especially with the demo being so low quality because, you can't record it from your capture card. You have a chance, Bandai Namco, of getting a variety of opinions about the game from a lot of people, whether it's be your average Joe, your content creators, big publishers, whatever, from a beta, temporary beta, or demo in order to improve your final product of the game. But you know what you guys are doing on purpose? This is on purpose. You are refusing to give out any type of demo or beta. And you know what's gonna happen? You know what I think is gonna happen? I don't think they're gonna provide one this year. I don't. Because they haven't done it with Sparking Zero, and they didn't do it with My Hero Academia. There was no downloadable demo for that game. And then, honestly, it's like the premise of Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 in general has been way too safe. With Dragon Ball Xenoverse 1 and Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, yes, they showed you create a character around the end or at some parts, but with Dragon Ball Xenoverse 1, you saw the actual villains. You saw, okay, this is what the game is going to be about. This is what some of the storyline is going to essentially be about. It wasn't too safe. It was, okay, we have the heroes and you have the villains fighting each other. Okay, with Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, it was like a similar thing. Yes, you saw the heroes, but you also saw the villains and the actual okay, you know what, there's going to be stakes. There are going to be stakes in this game. There's going to be stakes in the story. You knew what the goal of Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 was going to look like from the get-go, which was protect history. You saw the scene at the end with future Gohan and future Trunks where, okay, you know what, we're going to change history, maybe future Gohan is going to survive. You had stuff like that. For this game, what exactly am I supposed to be excited about for the story mode, okay? You have a bunch of, I don't even know how to say it right now, but it's like you have a bunch of like to save type of, oh, everything's good, everything's perfect. Oh, we're just gonna fight some random enemies. We're just gonna fight some bots. And it's like, where is the actual excitement? You cannot have heroes without villains. You cannot have protagonists without showing off the antagonists and having there be stakes in the actual story, okay? When you have a story-based game, which Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 claims to be focused on the story mode to an aspect and then multiplayer, when you have the story mode, you're supposed to show why the viewers are supposed to care about the characters, why they're supposed to care about the story. As a neutral person, why in the hell should I care about Brett or any of these characters without putting them in serious situations right now? Xenoverse 1 and Xenoverse 2, both, the initial trailers, both had a thing where, okay, you knew that there was going to be some seriousness to the game. So why haven't they done that yet with Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3? Why are we just seeing characters just being happy, excited, cheerful, when we both know in anime and in anime games, one of the most important parts is to show what the actual stakes are like. And a problem with this is that the fact that you promoting this game before releasing Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2's final DLC. It's like, what are you guys thinking? Why couldn't you guys finish off and release Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2's final DLC so you can see how these things are? And then go on to Xenoverse 3 and kind of like having a villain relating to Xenoverse 3 at the start. And then there's other things too, like where is Goku? Why are you not showing off original characters more often? Why is everything restricted to that soul whatever type of feature that's been advertised? When Sparking Zero's initial trailer came out, there was the Super Saiyan Blue Goku, which initially put out hype, but you're just showing off things slowly to where, okay, yeah, this custom character goes Super Saiyan. So what? We know that they could go Super Saiyan because they've done it several times in the Xenoverse series. So why are you not adding things that are new that we as the players can be excited about? The fact is, it's like from the initial trailer, we didn't know what the new Dragon Ball game was going to be about, when in fact they could have released it from the start. They're hiding Goku for some reason. Do you guys not understand that Goku is the main character of the Dragon Ball series? It doesn't matter if you prefer custom characters or whether the focus is custom characters. The game should always include Goku as a priority in the promotional materials initially. Goku or a higher form of Vegeta, because that's what they're most iconic for. Don't talk to me about risk-taking and trying something new when that's just PR bullshit. The reality is, you guys are the person who is responsible for conducting the Xenoverse 3 trailers is a fucking hack, because all they could have done, by the way, was for the initial trailers, whether it was the first, second, third, they could have showed some type of villain, some type of stakes in the situation to where it can actually get us excited. Right now, how is anyone who's experienced Sparking Zero, Xenoverse 2, Xenoverse 1 supposed to be excited when everything just looks so safe and happy and cheerful? You don't promote a game just by showing off the happiness and all the good things in the story. You do it by showing, okay, why should you actually care about your custom character? Why should you care about Brett? Why should you care about these side characters? Because quite frankly, from an initial perspective, all right, when someone isn't glazed in the game or whatever, some of these people might initially think, okay, you know what, these characters look like shit, or some of these characters look mid. And it's like, okay, that might be the initial thought, but that's why as the producers, you give reasons why we should care. And that's by presenting footage that's actually with stakes in terms of, okay, let them fight this this villain. You could have them fight a Dragon Ball Z villain or Dragon Ball GT or Dragon Ball Daima or Dragon Ball Super. You could do all of that, but instead it's like we're just focusing in on what? Just the happiness? So is this what we're gonna expect for the next trailer as well? Whether it release next month or next week or a few weeks from now, when are we gonna get actual stakes? I did not play the Dragon Ball Xenoverse series just for my custom character to be in a room. I played it for the actual entertaining story, and that includes the DLCs. We've had 3 trailers so far, but yet we don't know what the enemy antagonist is actually going to be like. We don't know the seriousness of why is Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 going to be a good story? We don't know that. And they're hiding it behind, Akira Toriyama helped us. Okay, but you haven't given us a reason why we should care other than the brand name, which is Akira Toriyama. And then another thing that's been angering me so far is just the way that they presented the gameplay footage. It's like, okay, if you're gonna do, in my opinion, I'm a very big fan of the 1 versus 1 aspect. Whether it be your CAC versus the CPU, or you versus the opponent, the CPU, or even a player. Why would you show off gameplay footage with several different characters teaming up with you against a singular opponent in a crappy HUD just like this? If you're presenting gameplay footage, you try to make it organized first. When you have several different people fighting with you or against you, it makes it look so cluttered and overwhelming. This is why 1 versus 1, you start off with fighting off one opponent, showing off a dedicated thing of how things are, okay? But instead, it's like, okay, you could show off the fighting system, you could show off the combos, you could show off the movesets, but you show off this nonsense, and then it gives the perception that the game is some type of Battle of Z or Dragon Ball The Breaker's bullshit clone or Dragon Ball Z Kakarot clone, when it could very well may not be. But the fact of the matter is that by showing off the footage to that extent, you're making it seem like this is some MMO type of nonsense RPG focused type of game where all the combat is simplified when that very well might not be the case. And then another thing, where is the evasive actions? Why was the evasives actually removed? Why was a second ult? Are you even able to do a second ultimate move? What is the point of, where is going to be the initial investment in being able to use that soul change thing where you transform into another character? Why should people use that over transformations? It's like they're taking things from certain games, but they're not giving us a good reason why we, the player, should be able to do that or want to be able to do that. The fact that right now, some of the perception for the deals for the actual game is, I'll just replace it with the transformations. That should be your clue right there. I think you guys clearly have prioritized the soul change or whatever mechanic for transforming into characters for a reason, but you're not giving us good reasons why we should want to do that. And it's like right now, I think the perception is that Xenoverse 3 is some casualized version of Xenoverse 2. And in my heart, I don't think that's the intention. I don't think that the developers did this in some way to kind of like destroy the series on a personal level and, you know what, get rid of its fan base, its core fan base. But these guys clearly are not thinking right. If people already on the internet are either disappointed or shocked or not excited about the combat system for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3, by the way, it's still going to be very important, okay? If people are not excited, that's your fault as a producer and the people who are presenting this game. You people are responsible for the promotion of this game and you're screwing it all up. I don't care if you're saying that Xenoverse 3 is some reboot as some type of way to excuse excuse new aspects. The fact of the matter is, game is called Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3. Your job is to prove to us, the Xenoverse 1 and Xenoverse 2 players, why we should actually care about this game. And that could have been done with actually showing off the fighting system in a more in-depth level, by keeping things less cluttered, by not having a ridiculous HUD, by actually giving us a downloadable demo or a beta, by keeping us updated. We don't even know when updates are actually coming outside of what? Now with the V-jumps. But the fact of the matter is, things just in general right now have just been complete garbage. And essentially it's just because it feels too safe. They're not promoting Goku. They're not giving us, the people who like the original characters from Dragon Ball, reason enough to care for this game. All right, yeah, you have the CACs, but you're not putting in stakes for the story. You're going about this way too safe. And I don't think that is right, because we are coming from two games. The first game is when we had Demigra as the final antagonist. Now the second is where we had Mira Toa and then Few and Deborah, but especially Few and the whole time travel stuff as like a big thing to top. So how are you going to top that storyline if you're putting out shit like this, where everything just looks so giddy and happy and everything is just so great? Oh, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 is an MMO. No! Let me just tell you this. You can try and hide from the PvP aspect all you want, but at the end of the day, the previous games had PvP. Competitiveness, it doesn't matter. Competitiveness will always exist in different games. The competitive side of games, whether it's balanced or not, is still very important. So why are you not showing us these aspects right now? Hey, newsflash idiots, you guys don't have the luxury of playing things too safe anymore. We have Dragon Ball's fighters, we have Dragon Ball The Breakers, Jesus God, I don't even know why I just said that. You have Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, we have Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. These games are, whether you like it or not, these games are absolute competitors to Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3, because in some shape or form, they take the general fan and take some of those fans away from Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3. There are people here who prefer Dragon Ball Sparking Zero and would rather play Dragon Ball Sparking Zero than buy Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3. But as a company, it should be your job to want to appeal to everyone, whether it's a wide variety. The arena game fans, the adventure fans, whatever. You can appeal to both, but you're not doing a good job in asking us or telling us, okay, why should we get Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3 over the competing games? Everything is a competition. Every single thing. In my heart, I don't think this game is going to be bad or terrible, but I think that the promotion and the visuals that they've seen and a lot of the perception of the game so far is very bad. And it's not because Dragon Ball fans are stupid. It's because Bandai Namco has just been terrible at this. And quite frankly, I'm sick of keeping my mouth shut. Whatever the consequences happen from this video, I don't give a fuck.